or not. Come on. Not it. Excuse me. Alright, what's good, everybody? Rocking and rolling. What are we doing here? How many? Alright. I have no idea what the hell is going on, but well, what the hell? There we go. Alright. What's cracking, everybody? Rolling. Let's get it. Alright, we got lots and lots and lots to talk about. Wolverines, Lions, Week 17 reaction. All of it. And there is a lot to get done. We are into December, and well, it's starting to get a little bit chilly. But we have been working on this damn server, and listen, a lot. So look, I'm going to start with Michigan, and then we will get into the Lions. Going to be a little bit of a mixture today, somewhat, as we have quite a bit of work to do. I've got to go and get some stuff from my place. We will talk about what's going to be happening down at my place in a little bit, but for now, we are going to be getting on down to TJ's, and it's going to be time to throw down some lime and get right into it, and hopefully by the next time y'all see this, we will be into freaking planting. So I reckon let's get on down to TJ's, because, well, we are going to be racing against time, as we've got snow in the forecast, and, well, we need to as well finish up everything we're doing. So we need to get some mowing done. Looks like Siege has already been doing some mowing as well, so that's nice. And we're frozen. Freaking beautiful. Alright then. Okay, we're moving. So let's hop right into it. And look, if you're a Lions fan, I'll get to you here in a minute. As I said, we're going to talk Michigan to start tonight. That was Harbaugh's biggest win. But I took something out of this game that I should have noticed a lot sooner. Now, look, I'll be quite honest with you. I'm not going to get into the whole scandal specifically because, look, you're coming off of one of the biggest wins in the Harbaugh tenure. And, look, nobody can take that away from you. Nobody. Nobody is going to take that away from you. Because, look, you still have the memories. And even if things do happen, you are still going to have the memories regardless. Now, once they do come out, yeah, I will talk about it. Specifically because I'm not going to be a lazy piece of you-know-what. The whole point being is that, look, biggest win in the Harbaugh tenure, in my opinion. And look, I really thought Zombie Bama was going to show up, Zombie Bama was going to take care of business, and yes, I did not believe in my college team. And I took that because of the numbers. Now, I'll be quite honest with you. A lot of the time, the numbers do affect a decision on a game, but at the same time, let's be honest with ourselves, it's all meant in good fun anyway. But look, if you have the chance to go to Houston, to fly out there, to see your team, take the chance. Do it. It's an incredible experience. And, I mean, I had buddies out there at the Rose Bowl. And it was, I've never been to the Rose Bowl, but, however, it is an incredible experience because I have been to a national title game. It is incredible it's an incredible experience. So if you get the chance, do it. But what I took from this game is very, very simple. This is an unbreakable team. They have rallied around this coach. They have rallied around this scandal thing, and they have put their foot down and they've made it back. JJ impressed me with many of his throws. The one-handed grab, Blake Corum, I love that kid, and I'll be honest with you, I've been saying this for a while about Corum. The size does not worry me, but I'm gonna tell you this: that kid is going to be making some special plays on Sunday, and I truly believe that. The guy's done it in college. I think the transition is going to be super easy for Blake Corum. Your tight ends, Roman Wilson. What a catch. And then, how about the 4th and 2 play? My heart dropped on that play. And I thought, oh no. Not like this. And they came through and they did it. From what I seen in the game, it tells me JJ's healthy. And look, I'll be the first. It'll be the first thing I say. If JJ is healthy in this game against Washington, I have no doubts, none, that you're winning this game. Now, I do think Washington is going to be a different test. I really do. But if JJ is right and JJ is healthy, when JJ is healthy, guys, JJ is a different QB. Very, very simply, I'm happy for my fellow Michigan fans out there. And it's the very thing I started with. Look, if you get the chance to go, take it. But this team is unbreakable. This team has rallied around this scandal thing, has rallied around each other. They play for each other. And this team is special. And they said it's natty or bust. They've made it. Now, to them, they still got to go out and win the game. And I think they will. I've already made the bet. So, but to me, Harbaugh's biggest win, your coordinators are elite. And look, you got every reason to believe. But if you're not believing now, I want to hear from you. And I want to know what your doubt is. Do you have any doubts against Washington on Monday? I don't. So there's the Michigan side of it. Look, this team is unbreakable. You're not breaking this team. Not only that, but there were many, many mistakes. The muffed punts. The muffed return. The 4th and 2 play. The pick that wasn't a pick. Very, very simply, you have every right to believe. But if you don't believe now, I want to hear from you. And I want to understand what the doubt is. So, with that said, let's get into lines. And I'm going to start with the question, and then I will get into my thoughts on this. And look, I'm going to come at it from a different angle than most. And that's truly being polite. So, we know what happened. The last play, And look, I have scanned every single bit of piece that I have seen. And my thing is I have quite a few questions. I have quite a few questions because of really everything that is going on with this. And it starts with accountability. The thing is, the accountability needs to go towards the ref. The ref was not paying attention. And not only that, but Brad Allen, I have a question for you. How did you hear Dan Skipper from 10-15 yards away when you were looking right at Taylor Decker? That's where my mind goes first. Brad Allen was not paying attention. I don't know what the deal was, and I don't really understand. I really don't. How are you not paying attention to what's going on the field when you're the lead ref? Number two, he botched the call. Now, I get it. The league is trying to say it's you and it's deception. Guys, here's the problem with that. Deception is a part of the game. Except the very dude who is not supposed to get confused did get confused. Except I have a problem with that theory. Because now, when Brad Allen refs a Lions game, the Lions are 0-6. It's quite clear to me this dude does not like the Lions. When a referee has clear bias against a team, and you see the stats come out, that's a problem. Then on top of that, you have the weird reports. Brad Allen was not in the referee meeting pregame. You have the league trying to blame you. You have the article on A to Z Sports confirming that Brad Allen has seen this type of deal before. And then finally, the nail in the coffin of that, the league sending out a video of players reporting and using the very game as the video. Here's the problem with that. In the video, it clearly shows that the league is wrong and that the Lions are right. All this is what I have boiled it down to, and I'm going to make it very, very simple. You are being egged on. You are being egged on by the refs because, shocker, Brad Allen is going to ref this weekend. Then on top of that, the league trying to blame you, Peter King trying to blame you, all these different entities trying to blame you, except the very problem being is that with the video they sent to the teams, it shows they were wrong. But here is my problem. My problem is that I need a few people to step up. And this is where the conversation should get interesting. Panay Sewell, I need you to talk, big fella. I need you to talk. Panay was standing right next to Taylor Decker. Panay, if he was listening, ended up hearing the conversation. You see Taylor Decker rub his number saying, I'm reporting. You now have billboards in Detroit saying, Decker reported. The fact of the matter is that you are being egged on. So, hey, Sewell, I need you to step up, big fella. Number 2, Sheila, you are the owner. I get this is not what the Lions do. However, you have to step up as the owner of this team and say enough is enough. The fact of the matter is that no, I don't think Sheila will step up. If Sheila did step up, and I hope you're listening, Sheila, fans would commend you. Fans would love you even more. They are wanting you to step up. And that's the point. If Sheila steps up, Dan Campbell, Panay Sewell, if these people step up, to me, the conversation changes. The fact of the matter is that we can sit here and blame this and that. That is where the title of tonight's video comes in, because it's not just the botched call. It is also the fact of, I need to know where you're at with Dan Campbell. No, not the head coach. Dan Gamble. Dan Gamble. Not Dan Campbell. Dan Campbell, we all love. Period. Point blank. End of story. At the end of the day, Dan Gamble, I need to know if you're all in or all out on Dan Gamble. If you say all in means you were fine going for it 3 times at the end of the game. And you're not going to get upset. You're accepting of it. And you are going to side with Dan Gamble's aggressiveness. If you say all out, it does not mean that you don't like the guy. All it means is that you want the guy to run the game a different way. But here's the thing. This is where the conversation gets interesting, because let's be honest, in the sense of this conversation, you're winning right now. And as far as I am concerned, you have 12 wins. Period. You are a 12-win football team. Very, very simply, you're winning right here, right now. a percentile that I would say is about a 60%, maybe even 50% of the pie. Dan Campbell's aggressiveness is what got you to this point. Yes, I do fear at some point or another, yes, it is going to cost you. However, you're winning right now. And if you continue to win, you win the home playoff game. If you win that playoff game, guys, that's what it comes down to. The season comes down to the home playoff game. You have already won the division. I told you this last February. You are winning the division. You did that. Check one off the books. Number 2 is winning the playoff game. I personally would like to see balance from Dan Campbell. I would personally like to see Dan Campbell be tactical about this. Because what I need is you have got to be able to take the points. Taking the points in a playoff game, guys, the playoffs are a different animal. And on top of that, it is also the fact of that, very, very simply, points are going to be hard to come by. Points are going to be at a premium. If you get a chance to take the field goal, Dan has to be tactical. And Dan is going to have to take the points. My compromise is very, very simple. Take the points early in the game. Don't go for it. Take the points earlier in the game, then you got carte blanche. Because once you take those points, then the other team's got to gamble. You're putting them in a position of pressure. Now, what I will tell you, what I believe got lost in all of this. This was Aaron Glenn's best game. Aaron Glenn called a masterpiece. Now, he had no answer for CeeDee Lamb. I get that. Hutch had his best game with 3 sacks. To me, Aaron Glenn was the better coordinator that night. Ben Johnson, I have a question for you. What are we doing running on 3rd down? And look, I'll be quite honest with you. Yes, Jared Goff. What I think, the Jared Goff comment, or not comment, but the Jared Goff play, there's 2 sides to the coin. And it's the fact of that he threw 2 interceptions. But then he led the team down there for the drive. So this is, to me, this is one of the crazier puzzle piece games that I can remember from this season. Now let's be very, very clear. For me, really for all of us, let me get this out of the way. For all of us, you have the ability, based on the play, and based on it is week to week. It is going to change. To me, there were a few calls from Ben Johnson. Did not understand. Excuse me. I did not like. And I thought they were quite boring, if I'm being honest with you. My whole point to you is that very, very simply, Aaron Glenn was the better coordinator in this game. But it's also the fact of that there were many pieces to the puzzle where you had multiple chances and you didn't capitalize. But the fact of the matter is, right here, right now, what matters is prepping for the playoffs. That's where I'm at. You have a chance to win against Minnesota. I like Dan Campbell's comment of controlled fury. I think you're going to drop a bomb on Minnesota. But very, very simply, you're getting guys back. The season comes down to the playoff game, and yes, there were plays where you didn't capitalize. That does cost you. But the main story is going to be the botched call. And I will go to my grave believing that the guy did not pay attention to what the hell was going on the field, and that's why he got confused. And I gotta be honest with you, it is one of those things where there has to be accountability for the referee who blocks the call. As I said, it's pretty clear the guy has a bias against this team. It's pretty clear. Then on top of that, you can't just, this is where I will put the blame on the franchise. And look, I hate blaming the franchise, but I say it every time something like this comes up. Guys, I can't be anybody else but myself and come on here and be honest with you. At the end of the day, what comes out of this and where I put the blame is that the franchise has to speak up. The franchise has to speak up. And once the franchise speaks up, they have to set the standard of which they are not going to just sit back and take this BS anymore. Because by taking it and not doing anything and not speaking up, it hurts you. Because all you're doing is you're letting the league know that it's basically fine to screw you over. You know, and I hear the narratives. Don't leave it to the judges. Except this wasn't left to the judges. It was a very late flag. And as far as it goes, this is a billion-dollar enterprise. The refs should be full-time. The refs should have to speak to the media, coaches, players, assistants, owners, etc. All sit and talk with the media. The refs should not get off scot-free. The accountability has to be there. And you know how I know that basically, you know how you know this team got screwed is when damn near a large percent of people are saying the same thing. A large percent of people continue to say this team got screwed. Local, national. I think Rex Ryan put it best. Brad Allen should be a man and own up to it. Instead, nah, we're going to double down. We're going to blame the franchise. Do this, do that. And it's soft. It's weak. It's pathetic. But simple. Controlled fury. And you learn from it. You move on. But let's get after it. And yes, I heard the Costa, aka Jimmy Cookies, and Dan Campbell exchange. Guys, they're humans. And you know what? In this industry, many people don't want to be honest. They just want to be lazy. They just want to talk about, well, Coach, how was the game? Go Lions! No. Dan stood his ground. Cookie stood his ground. I love it. And hell yeah, I'm a back Jim. The fact that I've had to defend Costa, it is wild to me. But hell yes, you got screwed. But I think it's time this franchise steps up. Sheila should stand up for her franchise. You know, it was one of the biggest stories in the offseason when we talked about fans wanting Sheila's autograph at training camp. And the best part is that, yeah, she deserves credit for this. But at the same time, she also should step up for her team. She's the owner. Step up. These players got to step up and make a play every week. Well, you know what? It's time the owner does the same. Dan stood up for the team. You've got local and national media standing up for the team. So hell yeah, I'm going to come on here and tell you, yes, the owner should stand up for her team. People talked about how much they love Sheila. Sheila would be loved even more if she stood up for her team in this instance. But it's simple. It is the ultimate, both things can be true type of puzzle piece. And at the end of the day, it's going to come down to that playoff game. And whether it's the Packers, whether it's the Rams, whether it's whoever, that's what it comes down to. And look, I'll just tell you with the Rams thing, it's simple. The NFL is about storylines. Well, what bigger storyline than to talk about McVay versus Goff, Stafford versus his old team? That's what it comes down to. And as far as the whole overtime thing, we absolutely bashed this team for playing for overtime in week 2. They played for the win. And here's the other problem that I have with this whole play for overtime type of deal. Playing for overtime, you do realize there's a coin toss. And you do realize that with said coin toss, you may lose that coin toss and the other team can go down and score, and that's it. Like, we've seen this happen. So this idea of that we're just going to put out this take of that, hey, yeah, they would have won an OT. Are we sure about that? Are we totally sure that this team would have won in overtime? And I would love to know, for the people who do say that they would have won in overtime, how are you so sure of that? Would they have won the coin toss? Because that's my biggest problem with this playing for OT take thing. Alright, so we still got some more fields to line, but we're going to finish up this field. And then we'll get some other things done. Let's get into this. Let's switch over to FS for a moment and get into this real quick while we're at it as well. With this thing that has continued to happen, I'm seeing more and more of these pages pop up, and it's very interesting in a sense, and it makes me wonder where you guys are at. And it is called Live Leak. And so what these people do is they find mods that are not ready or that are Patreon mods, and what they do is they leak them. I don't quite get it, don't quite understand it, but my question is simple. Does it make you ready for the days of pay to play? I've talked about this for quite a while now, and based on a few conversations I've had, it may or may not be in the works for the next game or iteration of the game,